Okay, welcome back, my friends. It's the 3rd of July, day before the 4th, leading up to it. We may get some feedback. I'm trying to check the stream, something I virtually never do. So let's see. Okay, maybe it'll take a minute. Maybe there's a delay. Regardless, the culprit for today. The internet can totally see you now. Something happened. Alright, today's culprit. We have an iPhone 6S here. Pink. Sorry. Rose gold. Would that be a more accurate color? Why, certainly. We'll call it. What does it do when I do that? Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, so that flashes everything. And sound? You shouldn't hear sound. Okay. From the camera lens. Alright, iPhone 6S. This was previously worked on by somebody that doesn't do repairs. They just went and they had a battery out of an old iPhone, and it was the wrong battery, so they went and got a proper battery. Now when you plug it in, it'll either do this or it will turn off and on. You can get it into, let me see here. Okay, so we'll go to that. Problem is, we need data off of it, so we don't want to recover it in iTunes. Now, chances are we could plug it in and maybe update it in iTunes. If the iOS is out of date, it will attempt to install a new version of iOS on the device without erasing the data, allegedly. I don't know that I've ever done that, but when you unplug it, it's like the power bleeds off very quickly, and it should shut off. Maybe it won't. We'll let it sit for a moment while we wait. It took a few seconds last time, so I don't know. There, it's back off again, and let's see if we can get it to turn on. Okay, so it does turn on, but right back off. And now nothing. Oh, wait, it'll boot back up. Okay, so we have it boot looping. Before we go any further, like I said, somebody else previously worked on it, so we know we want to get the picture. We need the pictures off of it, and we also know. Let's zoom way in here. Sorry about the flash. I wasn't aware that was doing that. Maybe we can. There, we'll focus manually. That will unflash your eyeballs, my friends. Can't find supported channels. Maybe I have to log back in. Let me check. 0 channels, but yet I'm going out to YouTube. How does this work? Oh. Give me a second here, people. We are... Okay. online, 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 yet the restream chat is not loading. Oh boy. Okay, so I lost my restream chat. No big deal. We are, however, live. So it's about a 10-second delay from what I just counted. There. Okay. Now, we've got one on YouTube, one on 00 Facebook. That's fine. Let's close this dashboard. Close that dashboard. I guess I don't need the chat. If I see the chat, nobody chats anyways. What am I talking about? Alright, let's go ahead and work on getting this opened. As I was saying, we need the data. The pictures are important to the customer. Alright, the pictures are important to the customer. Somebody else has worked on it, and somebody that does not do tech work. So also the screws are missing that hold it together. I don't know if you can see that or not. Let's go ahead and zoom this back a little bit to get a little bit of something else in reference for now. For now, we need plastic to get into, open this up. So the screws are missing. This is an iPhone 6s, so there should be no ribbon cable connecting the screen to the actual body of the phone. I think that was an iPhone 5 and 5s, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe they did it in an iPhone 6, I'm not sure. I don't bother keeping all these models straight. I'm not a specifically iPhone repair person, which when you focus on one specific niche, I guess you could potentially be better at it. But not this guy. Okay, let's take this in as close as we can get. We could actually... Let's see if our camera will stay down. We're going to autofocus it real quick. Okay, there we go. That doesn't look too bad. The first thing I noticed, and this may be hard to see, is that... I don't know if you can see that or not. But right here, the battery connector is up. Like, not the battery connector, but the cover for the battery connector, meaning we can take and stick something under there very easily because it's not physically attached or screwed down all the way. So, let's work on holding this up for now and get out one of our tools. This is a tool set that I bought a long time ago from, the website went down for a while. I believe it was iPhone4parts.com. Not a sponsor. Definitely, I can say that. Not a sponsor. This just, I bought this tool set. It has the pentalobe screwdriver and a Phillips screwdriver for working on iPhone 4s at the time. But I've used them for every generation since. High quality screwdrivers, in my opinion. They've lasted quite a while. You do get the pentalobe and then a Phillips. Pentalobe is the white and gray one. Phillips is the blue and white. Right now we need the Phillips too. We're going to disconnect this battery connector. One screw is longer than the other. This side here is the long screw. This will be the shorter one. If you mix them up when they come out, what I tried to do is take the screws out and lay them down, and then lay the part that goes with them in between it. You can already tell, see how much this moves. This was not even tightened back down. If that's not tightened back down, there's a good chance that our battery was not even connected properly. Let's look at that for a moment. And it appears as though it wasn't. I'm not even going to touch it, and we will be able to see. Look how bent that phone is. You can see right there. Let's try and refocus it. Let's give it a little, make it a little brighter. And we can see that if we simply just push this, put that in there, we can grab that battery connector. Yep. Not connected, not glued down, not nothing. Okay. We have a little bit of work ahead of us here. Let's get some new adhesive. We're going to take whatever this stuff is that's on the battery. We're going to take and clean that up. We'll clean this out. By all rights, we should attempt, but they didn't ask it, but we should try and straighten out that. Look at that bend. You can just see how bent it is. Here, I'll hold it up. You can still see the one corner and how it goes from straight on this end to warped. And then if we check out the other side, this side should really be pronounced with how bent it is. Just look at the screen lining up most of the way except for the top there. There's how bent the phone actually is, the body of the phone, this side. So, you know what? It was together when it came in. I don't think I'm going to test my luck and try it and fold this aluminum case any. That would require a complete disassembly, at least as far as the logic board. We would have to take this and see how much work we have to straighten somebody's case. We're going to have to take out the logic board, disconnect the screen first, pull the SIM tray, the SIM tray and the card, pull the logic board, and then perhaps we could get a slight bend back up in it, but chances are we'll put the force needed to straighten one of these and the force where you fold the case over entirely and break it. There's a real fine line between them, so we're not going to mess with that today. What we are going to do is clean out the inside, wipe down this battery, and then connect it properly. Just a guess, that was probably something that was keeping it from turning on. Or at least charging properly. So let's see if we can get this to happen. We're going to enlist the help of our helping hands if we can. That way this don't have to lay over, even though it may, and I don't feel like disconnecting it. Alright, that will hold our phone, and we can continue on. I don't recommend playing with alcohol and lithium-ion batteries. Perhaps just a quick blast of Windex or window cleaner. Take your pick and let that soak in a little, and then we're going to wipe the battery off from whatever that is. Look kind of like grease or something from fried food. I don't know. These batteries should be sealed. If they have a puncture in it, replace it immediately. That's another thing. There's that. Let's go for the phone itself now. And then we will dry that out. Windex evaporates. Not as quick as alcohol, but it does evaporate. We're going to let that dry for a moment. And see if we have room. Do we have room for a strip or so of our LCD tape. This stuff it's not thick, but again, it's not super skinny. We will use the even thinner stuff. We have two different, well, we have way more than two kinds that we use here, but we got 5 or 6. This stuff, you can look it up. How I found it was, I think I looked up red dragon tape or red tape, I'm not sure. Good stuff. I like it. And then we have the skinnier roll. We're going to put a couple of these onto the battery. So we'll put a few strips here. And that will help hold it in place once it goes into the phone. Oh boy, that's turning out as bad as it can. Okay, tape, cut. Okay. The problem with putting this tape on, a problem you could potentially run into, is if it's too thick, you'll end up with white spots on your screen. The tolerances inside, with the cavities, or the empty space inside iPhones and other phones and tablets, you're not working with very much room. When you add the thickness of tape that, that's a whole roll of tape spooled up. But when you're talking about the thickness of, take that one protective layer off and you got something that is not very thick, you can run out of room. We'll go ahead and pull one more piece. This tape is fairly sticky also, not like you can find the bulk rolls of it that usually come in the black and the clear, and sometimes other colors. The bulk packages of it like this from eBay, Amazon, you can find all of them there. It's about 10 times more sticky than that, and the problem with that tape, if you're holding something externally on like a screen, you get it in the warm sun, it will unstick. As far as I know, this tape has not come unstick. Not saying that if you set your device in the sunlight for a couple hours that you're not going to be able to lift the screen out or whatever, but it is fairly sticky. I used 2 little strips of this to hold an iPod to an old LCD screen, and it stayed up there till I pried it down, probably about 6 months, just testing it. And that was through, it gets warm in here when the AC is not on in the summer at night, so super warm weather, and it held on. So that's the tape we use. After that test was conducted, that's what we started using. Alright, we're gonna go for getting our battery in there first. Let's go ahead and peel up. Now, if doing this with tweezers, be careful that you don't puncture your battery casing. Let's go peel up our protective layer. one. These tweezers work till you try to hold on to something slippery, and then alright. We're going to attempt to connect the battery first. We could actually, we're all the way out. We could go in even closer. The problem is the screen's going to get super dark. Let's do that. We'll keep that. Go in, we're going to make sure our battery is connected, and that it is. We can see that there is very well connected. Then we're going to lay it down and stick it in place. And then we need to put our little panel back on with both screws. Or whatever it is, battery connector cover. Just to show you, I noticed this whenever before we do try and put it on. That is fairly bent. Let's attempt to straighten that out at least a little bit. We can see how twisted it is. It does have that corner's supposed to be bent down, but just the overall twist of it from being connected improperly with the battery not plugged in. Let's try and straighten it out some. Give it a slight downward warp so it keeps the connector in. I think that should do it. When messing around inside these devices, try not to poke around with your tool when the battery's connected. There is power in there and you can short stuff out. Alright, come on. Up. And I lifted the screw right back out. Of course I did. I'm going to wait to tighten that. Let's put the other screw in. This is whatever the speaker, whatever, is very magnetic right here, so you can tell. Trying to put the screws in, they sometimes may get sucked down there. Look for them there if you lose any screws. Alright, let's tighten this down. That is down all the way this time. The battery is fully connected, not just the connector sitting there. Let's see if we get a different result when we plug it in, or if the same problem still presents itself and it never was a battery problem. But being that the battery wasn't connected, I think it's pretty safe to say it was a battery problem. One other thing we're going to do, and we'll need our pentalobe screwdriver for this. I don't believe we have two screws here. We will take a look in our collection of iPhone screws, but we do have one from a gold phone, not rose gold. We do have one, and it's an iPhone 6. Let's see if it's going to fit the iPhone, or what is it? It's an iPhone 6. Will it fit an iPhone 6S instead of a 6 Plus? This customer says they may, whoever worked on it may still have the screws, but we'll at least put one in for now to try and hold it together. And it does work. Okay. Alright, let's see. Let's turn it on. Is there any power in the battery? Well, look at that. You hit the button and it actually turns on and tells you to charge it now. It did not do that before. Same thing when you plug it into power. It tells you to charge it. Alright, let's let that charge and see if it's going to turn on. If it turns on, we'll try the customer's pin, and we're going to also do a backup for them while it's here. And that way, if anything happens down the road, we have a backup to this point. It is after 5, so that open sign is going off. I just hope the video actually loaded. Like for anybody else out there. Probably not. Probably bitter failure. Such is my life. And boy, it says we're live, but can we actually go to a video? Facebook not working. No surprise. Well, if it made it to YouTube, it did. Cannot play video. Let's hit OK. And just for curiosity's sake, let's check the internet. On the actual computer. Where is the page? Okay, so it does say we're live, but can people connect? Can they see it? Can I connect to my own video? Video inception. Live stream inception here. It's saying click for more. I'm not going to try and play sound. Yeah, I doubt that's going to go. Let's be curious. Curiosity killed the cat. Yeah, it's not going to load. Of course not. Restream, you failed me. You failed me. Well, let's just... It's working. Okay, so we are charging. As soon as we unplug, oh no. It's gonna get real dark, but let's plug in. We get our little sign. And as soon as we unplug, it tells us to plug back in. So things are looking better. It will take a few minutes for that to turn on. In the meantime, have some coffee or nachos, a smoke and a pancake, whatever it is that you choose to indulge in. Do it up. So, here's what I'm wondering. Because we occasionally, on occasion, we fix things here, right? And I just give it away to show how to fix certain problems. On occasion, very rarely I fix stuff, but on occasion we do fix things. Just give it away for free. Should I be able to go to the doctor and ask him how he does his job and get the info for free? Could I become a doctor? Maybe. It's something to think about. Something to think about, my friends. We could all be doctors. Let's go question these people. With any luck, this thing is going to turn on. I'm hoping. It always takes a few moments. If we plug into the 2.1 amp side, will that do us any justice, even though that's for the iPad, allegedly? Is it going to charge it quicker? Probably not. Probably not. As is very, very customary at this point, we do have another victim. It's like an endless supply chain of bodies hitting the slab. Okay. And the problem with this one, I know you probably will not see that. That's better. Let's wind our ISO down a little. Alright, needs clean. Please keep Bully Dog program questions. Just call Mark. Alright, we've got an apple. Just in time. Look at that. Look at that, my friend. Just in time. I like it. I need that. More of that in my life. Stuff working. So far, so good. $640 seems a little on the dark side, but we'll go with it. So we have our next victim in the lineup. We do have other things in the lineup as well. 1, 2, 3. However, we are waiting on parts yet again for those 3. Let's go back here. While we're waiting, we'll bundle this up. Kind of curious if this thing's going to turn on or if it's just going to do what it's doing there. I'm not having faith. That apple's taking quite a while to stick. And this is going to lead us to other problems if we have to recover data from a damaged or what appears to be damaged phone of some sort. It's at least charging. I know that. That was one more thing that it wasn't doing that it is now. And we are bundled up. Alright, so we don't have any buzz from the little silence key here. Usually you get, when it's on, you would get a vibration. I think it would go silent and then show the volume meter. But nothing from that yet. We're just getting an apple. What I'm wondering is when somebody else was poking around in there, did they poke anything with a screwdriver when attempting to take those tiny screws out? Seeing how the battery was just laid in place and not even fully snapped in connected. It was just kind of laying there and they screwed that plate down over it. We'll never know. some questions we just will not get answers to. We are getting somewhat of a charge. If it gets to the point where it turns on like this, I don't use iPhones. I have an iDevice and a Mac, but I really don't use these. I don't know. I thought that it would sit on the one screen forever, and if it gets to the point where it turns on and boots up. So, from my limited knowledge with iPhones, specifically iPads, iPods, iDevices like this, iOS devices, we have a problem with it not booting so far. It doesn't feel overly warm, so there's no problems there thermally, but is there another problem on the board? I do not know. Let's hold our power button, shut it off, and see if we can get it to boot. Play around with the keys a little. Okay, nothing. Let's try a hard reset, see if this still works holding power. Indeed it does. Let's hold our power to turn it back on. As exciting as that isn't, we're going to watch the Apple for a couple minutes. If not, we'll move on to further steps. We need to see if iTunes can detect it. If it can we update it rather than restore it? Restoring guaranteed erases the data. So sick, so sick. Trying to get over, I don't know if it's cold, sinus infection, something. Sorry. Restoring it erases the data. Updating it, as far as I know, like I said, limited knowledge here. Limited knowledge. Like, this is the same as me trying to tell you about rocket science. I know the rockets go up, they spray fuel and propellant out their ass, and that's about it. How they do it, no clue. But, yeah, that's my limited knowledge. Allegedly, updating an iOS device will attempt to reinstall iOS without erasing the files. Look at that poor bent phone. Did somebody abuse you, little Apple? What did they do to you? What did they do? It looks like a back pocket. At least it goes back into a pink camo OtterBox, so there's some safety involved there. Okay, I'm gonna say that's probably not going to boot. Let's see if we can update it. Let me go ahead and get iTunes opened over here on the computer. Alright, and iTunes is up. You are going to see some of the podcasts I listen to. We're going to unplug. Let's see if the phone stays on a few seconds after unplugging. I don't imagine there's much charge in it, but if the battery is plugged in and working as it should now, it should stay on longer than that 5 to 10 seconds it did last time. It looks to be the case. So we'll go ahead and continue with attempting to restore. Not restore. Update. Update. I have to keep that in my mind. If I click that restore button, I'll be kicking my own butt at that point. Okay, so it is staying powered on. Let's go over here to my computer. And we'll throw somebody else up there. Just so I don't have to look at all the titles of my episodes. See in the future. Okay, so we're going to plug this thing in. we do have our iPhone plugged in. The cable runs to the computer, I promise. No trickery here. Let's go back. So, okay, so far it is not detected, but if we hold the buttons to power it off, alright, and we're going to hold power and home till we see the apple, and then we will let go of home, or let go of power. And it should take it into at least, I think iTunes recovery mode, or whatever it's called. The screen looks like that. Got the little iTunes logo with a cable. That is where we want it. Alright, let's reposition this guy. And go back. So far we see contacting iPhone software update server with it plugged into iTunes. So it is detecting something. How much? I don't know. If we get an option to update, okay. If not, then we will have to go for, we can't even restore it. They want their data, and that's going to be much research, and probably, as far as I know, the best of my ability, we're going to be sending it off somewhere else. Okay, there's a problem with the iPhone that requires it to be updated or restored. The problem may be fixed by updating your iPhone, which preserves your settings and content. However, if updating doesn't work, it may be necessary to click Restore, which erases all settings and content. If you backed up this iPhone to this computer or iCloud, you'll be prompted to restore your backup onto the iPhone. You will need your iCloud password, and if Find My iPhone has been... you need your iCloud password if Find My iPhone has been enabled. Alright, update is highlighted. It's telling us here that by updating your iPhone, which preserves your settings and content. Updating. We're going to click Update. This could tend to be a long process. Why, with today's internet speeds and the connection at which data can flow on computers and everything, it takes so long to download this software. I have no clue. Maybe it's an iTunes limitation, perhaps. I don't know. Please work. This would be fine if this works. Plug it in and update it. We do have the PIN. We don't have the Apple ID or anything like that. And when I spoke to this customer, they did not even know their Apple ID. They just knew their PIN. That's what they had always used. And this is the case with most people. I know some people will know their Apple ID and the password for it, and iCloud ID and all that. Okay, if your iPhone can't be updated, you will need to restore it to its factory settings. iTunes will update your iPhone to iOS 12.3.1 and will verify the update with Apple. We're going to click Update. Next. Agree. And at this point, we have a little spinner here. Like 40 some megs of 2.96 gigs, 17 minutes remaining. This is 2019, not 1993, people. Come on. Get with the program, Apple. I believe in you. I believe in you. Right here. I know you're not a loser. I know you're not losers. What is that? Tell me what that is. Please. Please tell me. Why, Apple? Why? Why would you do this to us? Alright. It needs cleaned up. Cleaned up how? Let's do our checks. This stuff here, I promise, is going to get boring. Seeing the same thing over and over and over. Alright, so first and foremost, we need our little handy mat back. We're going to pull what appears to be our RAM door. Hard drive would be here. Wow, you can't see nothing, I apologize. What is that? That's that, that's that. You can kind of see there, right? Just say yes. I believe in you too. I know you got good inside, my friend. We're going to pull our RAM door, and we're going to attempt to look through our heatsink to see if it's clogged. If slightly clogged, you can bet the thermal paste is dry, even if it's not. Depending on the age of this thing, you can expect some dry thermal compound. Okay, we have one stick of RAM. We cannot even begin to see in there. We might be able to see through that though. Give me one moment. And of course, my flashlight's gone. It's gone for good. Alright, well, we use the one on the phone. Just an update, we are up in the 300 megabyte range. 350. So we're like, yeah, quarter of the way there. A little under a quarter of the way. 21 minutes remaining. Streaming and downloading. Not great, but hey. I'm looking for our flashlight. We want to try and get a view through that heatsink without shining light in our eyes or your eyes, and not really seeing nothing. All that means is we can't see through the fan, or can't get light into the fan enough to see the heatsink. We could try shining this way, but it's going to be the same situation. It's just blocked up to the point where we cannot see. So power down. We're going to check it just because this adds more to the workflow. It doesn't add more to the price. There is an opinion among some people that you can just take compressed air and blow in here, or an air compressor and blow in here, and that's good, or blow through the, and I understand that you might be able to unclog some stuff, but if there's a big ball, it potentially could jam the fan up later on. I don't think that's a tried and true and very safe method for preserving the life of the fan, number one, and number two, what does blowing with compressed air, or even an air compressor, even if you have a shop vac and you're trying to blow and suck stuff out at the same time, what the hell does that method have to do with replacing old dried up thermal compound? Not a thing. So that's why I don't buy that method, and I never did, and I never will, from the person that tried to sell me on it. Trying to sell me snake oil. How dare you? How dare you sell me snake oil? I ain't buying it. I don't want your snake oil, my friend. I do not want your snake oil. Any false hope. Alright, we got one stuck. Let's continue on down the road. On down this road of repair. This video today isn't really about this. This is just something to do. while we're waiting on Apple and iTunes. Let's do an update. We're almost almost to a gig. Who are you? My friend. I don't know who you are. Don't call me. My parents aren't home. I'm not allowed to talk to strangers. Okay? Thank you. So we're a little bit of the way there. You can see that, right? Did we pass a gig? Oh, so close, but so far, not yet. Not yet. We're going to pull our ROM door here. Oh, let me give you a model number on this, so if somebody searches for this. I have a lot of tags to go and update concerning. We're going to put our ROM screw right back where it goes. Call it a pet peeve or whatever. Really hate replacing that screw. Although it's easy, I like to keep the stuff original. What are you? You don't look like you belong. I'll put you over out of the way. .09 gig. 1.09 gigabyte. Wow. Okay, yeah, this one. There's something going on there. That was cross-threaded or something. Somebody abused that screw in a different way that it's not accustomed to, judging by how it came out. And our model number is, this is an Asus A53U notebook PC. Let's see if we can find something, a designator beyond that. An Asus A53U. K53U is the motherboard version, ID 1B. A53U-ES21. There's a check number 4320, warranty 12, which would be what, 12 months. Okay, still a few more screws if I'm not mistaken. Perhaps, yes. And I don't know about this one here. Maybe get a light, like a ring light to put around my camera that shines downward right on everything we happen to be working on. See if that helps with anything. What is this? Just a plug? A random plug? Just a foot. Right, there's no sticker there. That is actually plastic. Okay. Let's update again. Alright, 1.43, 12 minutes. We're good. Slow but steady wins the race. I like it. I like the sounds of it. I need more of that in my life. Winning, Tiger Blood. Does anybody know that reference? Okay, it appears that we've partially got our job done there. Let's open this bad boy up. Or girl. All inclusive here, remember. Okay, that was easy. I like it. We're gonna call this lady, I think, to come get her computer. Type that password in. And let's continue this. What is wrong right now? Why does it always look so dark? I think it's how I have it set up with metering, or maybe the metering, I guess. Metering setting on my camera. I think it's going over all the scene. I don't know. We're going to look up some good settings for streaming with this thing. Actually, I want to replace all these cameras. Well, not all of them. At least 2 of them with Canon. Either Canon or Sony camcorders. Maybe Panasonic. Might think about Panasonic. Let's see, what are you? What are you doing there? Who are you? LCD? Oh, this one's going to be fun, I can promise you. Already. If it doesn't rip something off the motherboard, I'll be amazed. Wow. Or rip the connector that we lifted up with, or the little handle, the ribbon handle. Alright, we're going to leave that there for now. That is being very stubborn. Okay, what's going on here? iPhone software update. The iPhone took itself, I just saw it take itself out of recovery mode. And we're back to, let's go to a wider view. We're back to an Apple for some reason. Now it is downloading. I really genuinely hope it does not. Alright, downloads are not paused. This is still going. Boy, I'm out of room here. I'll set it right there. We can kind of keep an eye on it. Just like out of the corner of my eye, I saw the screen go away, looked over, and I see this black apple on the white screen. It's a conspiracy. Eight minutes remaining. We're getting there, people. Look at this. Look at it. I don't think... That's just a horrible view, but you can see the phone. Here. We'll bring swing arm over this way a little. There, you can now see this junk, or this phone. Really sketchy here with the Y. So we have a little less than a gig to go. And it's getting there, but why it took itself out of that recovery mode. Like I said, I'm not a connoisseur of iDevices. I own one, and then I own an actual Mac. At least this connector here doesn't have to come up for this to come up, as far as I know. Wow. Well, okay. We do have my legendary, not so favorite AMD Vision graphics chipset. Radeon Graphics HD 6320. I really don't like these chipsets in laptops. But we're gonna go with it. Only because we can't swap it out. We can't swap it out for NVIDIA or anything else. And we've got a very loose hinge. Somewhere along the way we have a broken loose grommet. One of the other major problems with these old computers And the hinge isn't even loose, it's ripping loose from the plastic. Okay, yeah. We're not gonna go down that route. What do we need to disconnect? That's disconnected. We have one more for the daughter board. And possibly Wi-Fi antennas, a Wi-Fi card. I don't know if that will have to be removed. And then we have this pane here that we want to try to get up. It just needs a little nudge, little budge to get it, to motivate it. And I don't know if we can do it without, really don't want to break it. There goes some plastic. Alright. Pull a little hard. Quit being weak. Right? That's what they told me. Just pull. That side's connected good. This side isn't. We're going to actually open this up and lean this display back to keep it where we need it to. 5 minutes remaining. A little less than half a gig to go on that iTunes download of whatever iOS version. Hopefully it does this phone proper. And these are motherboard screws. So we have one. And one it is. It's, what do we have here? DC jack. And Wi-Fi cables. Alright, let's disconnect our Wi-Fi quick. At least the antenna. I think the card can stay. Alright, antennas are out, and our DC jack does need unplugged from the bottom. Wow. Alright, and it's out. There we go. Now we should be able to see what we can see through our heatsink. And try this side. Not a lot, however. We can see a little light. We're going to check it. It doesn't look too clogged up, looking how I can through it. But there is going to be some dust in there, so we will take and unclog that, and we're going to apply a new thermal compound while we're at it. Alright, 2.63 gigabytes of 2.96, 3 minutes remaining. Hopefully that apple showing on screen is what's supposed to be happening right now. I do recoveries. I don't do too many update or restores. I don't do too many of the updates. And it has been a while, so with any hope it's going to work out. Let's get our fan. Let's check our heatsink before we start moving stuff about. Okay, so not clogged. Not particularly awful either, but let's show you there. You should be able to focus on that, right? Little Panasonic. So we do have some cloggage. It's not horrible. It's not the end of the world. That will build up more heat, and that will dry this out. Fan blades are not bad. Are we almost back to the iPhone 2.80? So we'll try and keep an eye on this here for the time being. I just threw a brush into my computer. Thankfully it's SSDs in there, not spinny drives that are running the show. 2.87, 40 some seconds. Let's go over to the LCD. We will watch this happening. We could get a reaction from the iPhone 6s. Pink one, the pink, rose gold, sorry, rose gold. Let's get your reaction in real time. What have you to say for yourself? Nothing. That's like we thought. Alright, a few seconds remaining. Ta-da! Oh shit, processing. Well, okay. If I'm not mistaken, we should see some kind of progress bar in software or on the phone. I see neither yet. But I'm hopeful. Alright, done. Now what? Now what? So no activity. Tell me I have to re-download that because it kicked itself out of that mode. Huh. Okay, so we're at an Apple screen where we were before. Does it keep the download? No, it does not. Let's go here. Nothing is happening, as you can tell. We're gonna reset it again. And attempt to get it to where it needs to be. Okay, and it's back. Oh, that sucks. That download, I'm almost certain that download's not going to keep. It's not just going to be like, oh, here's your phone, let's continue. That's not the way these things work. Granted, they're always just supposed to just work, you know, it just works, but this one isn't. This one is not just working. What a pain. What a pain. Let's go back to this while that does its thing. So all that wait, hurry up and wait for nothing. Alright, this came up with update. Let's look. We're going to hit update. Now, is it going to download it all over again? Is it going to see that we just downloaded it? I'm almost certain it will download it. What a waste. What a waste of time. Apple customers, I feel for you if you have to go through this misery. I'm not saying there is any infallible technological device. There is no piece of modern technology that's infallible and just works. They all have their problems. They all have their bad days. Alright, as soon as I switch away, it's like I get another pop-up, so we'll just come back. We're going to hit update. iTunes is preparing to update the software on this iPhone. Extracting the software is what iTunes is saying along the top here. You can see that. It's not really anything, but let's go ahead and we'll watch that for a moment. Just for reference, we still have this screen on the iPhone here. Let's go ahead and throw the case under it. I don't really want to move it. but that will cut some of the glare from it. And here's where we're at. That bar is getting across there, so we're going to go back right there. It's almost at the end. We're going to go back to the phone. It made it across. Preparing iPhone for software update. And we're getting an Apple logo. Maybe it was trying to do this and I just didn't see it. As far as I know, this wasn't the screen it went to. Waiting for phone. Verifying iPhone update with Apple. And now this time, let me give you a better look. You can, let me dim this camera down some. You can see a bar there. See that slight progress bar? We're waiting on that to work its way across. Is that on my monitor? You bet it is. I thought that was on the camera for everybody there. Alright, so this is at least somewhat better of a result. It's trying to do what it's supposed to. How successful that will be, yeah, I don't know. I really, honestly don't know at this point. So, let that there. Guess what? Guess what? Your iPhone could not be updated. An unknown error code. Error 9. So now, we're going to go look. And this is all about how you word it. Error 9. iPhone 6s. Is it an S? Let's verify. It is. We don't want to restore, we want to update. Let's go look for iFixit. Let's see what this error 9 is. Answered. View the answer. With 3 utils. Well, we don't want to restore it. Of course, nobody answers whether you can keep the data. Okay, so that's crackpot answers. Yeah, so unfortunately this is the part where we need to do more research. No thanks. Let's unplug and plug in. I'm going to try one thing further because we are plugged into a dock. I am going to plug in, and what camera are we not using? We're using them all. Okay. We have to test cameras here, people. We need to find one that is going to freeze. And I'm not sure if it's this one. That looks like it. Do I still have that camera? I still have that camera and that camera, so I unplugged the right one. Now I have a USB 2 port free. I was plugged into a USB 3 port on an external dock. Should that matter? No. Does it matter? I don't know. I'm going to attempt to repeat the process. Alright, the phone is telling me charge it. So let's go with this. We're going to plug this thing in and charge it. I will post an update later. We're going to, like I said, it tells you to charge it. You can see that. It's dim. I'm sorry, the screen's dimmed down. There it is, battery icon's there. Pull it out, you get the iTunes cable, or the lightning cable logo. We're going to let it charge up for quite a while. If it does, and beyond that, it goes right to that screen, so there is some problem with it. Update is the only solution for it that I know of. There's alleged software out there, Dr. Phone and others, but I really don't think that is really not an answer. So we're going to let that sit there. Will it charge when it's in this state? I do not know. Let's try, and I think it's just going to keep coming back. We're going to turn it off and unplug it. Yeah, it just turns right back on and goes back to the same screen. Holding power, will that turn it off? I don't know. Let's check quick. Alright, it's off. Back on. Back to the same screen. So something needs done with it. Sadly, that's more reading. We're going to check this thermal paste, and then I'm ending the stream for the day. I have to call this lady. She wants to come pick up her computer. The one I unplugged the camera for. Can't show you. It's over there. We don't have our right camera now. Yeah. I don't care what type of air compressor or compressed air or blower, or you can have the best shop vac. There's no way blowing and sucking, or sucking and then blowing, whichever order you prefer, is going to replace any thermal compound on a processor die or whatever. Look at the size. Good Lord, look at the size of that processor. What is that? What is that? Oh my goodness. You're making me, I'm about to cry right now. Look at that. Look at that. I don't like that. That's tiny. I'm glad AMD can make stuff so small. I don't like this series, if I've ever stated that opinion. And let's see how dry it is. We're going to clean it off now. We need our ever popular brush to do this, I suppose. And that's even gone. Oh, nope, just a different spot. Okay. That's good. Let's see. We're going to attempt to zoom out. Very dry. It's just coming off in clumps. So, new thermal paste and then this repair will continue. Yeah, that's done. Done for. Gonzo. Complete gonzo. a little bit of clean, some new paste, and reattach. Paper towels are getting old. I need to pick up Q-tips. Poor iPhone. Can we get more juice in you by letting you sit there? Also, you might see a little bit of a remnant of this silicone pad. Left there, we want to leave that there so there's not a little bit of a void. This will line right back up with that, and we got to clean that area with our broom. We'll brush it out. I don't disagree that you can't unclog that, and I'm not gonna say that this bond between the heat spreader and vapor chain, thermal pipe, whatever, and the processor is vital, but it's pretty vital for cooling, to transfer heat away from something that generates heat out to where it gets cold. I'm not saying the suck and blow and suck method won't work for this, but nothing about that method will replace the thermal compound, and tearing it down and replacing it is the only way to do that. So the suck and blow only method, I didn't buy it. I didn't buy it then, I won't buy it now. I will never buy it. I don't want your snake oil, your false hope. Quit being lazy. Tear your computers apart. So far, so good. Line back up. Let's reattach these, and I think didn't I say it was? Yeah, we'll end it there. We'll go on to the cleanup of this. If anything, as to the problem with the iPhone, I'm thinking without it being charged, they generally anything that needs to update tells you to make sure you have at least this percentage battery if it's a battery powered device before you do it, and stuff that's plugged in tells you not to unplug it or run it from battery. There's always those warnings there, so I'm going to let this battery charge up, and if it doesn't stay on for very long after unplugging, well, then we know that the battery is not charging. Whenever they plugged it in, or maybe before they plugged it in, maybe there was just a bad, what is that, U2IC, the charging chip on the iPhone 6S, I think. I don't know. I'm not a pro at this stuff. I'm just going with the few things that I read at one point. Alright, that wasn't so hard. I say we go 4 back together. Anyhow, it's the 3rd of July. If you're doing anything this 4th of July, keep yourself safe out there. Don't do anything crazy. We do want you to return after the 4th. And if you're in another part of the world where perhaps you don't celebrate the 4th, I don't know, do you celebrate something? Leave me a comment down below. Do you celebrate something on the 4th of July, the U.S.'s Independence Day or whatever? If you do, let me know what it is. If you don't, well, hey, cool. Thanks for commenting if you do. What a nightmare. What a nightmare. Little wires. Can't you just go where you're supposed to go? Agree with me on this. I'm right, you're wrong. Alright, this warrants a closer look with tweezers. I'm going to attempt to pull these into there. Perhaps the blue ones are the ones fighting us. We'll put them in first. And then our black and red. Did I flip the plug? I think I did. Yes, I did. Now remember, this side goes up. Alright, it's plugged in. We're going to figure out how to tuck them in from there. That is in. It's not perfect, maybe not factory how they did it, but that's how I do it. Consider it done. Alright, my friends, have a happy and safe 4th of July out there. Have a good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. It is one of those. If you fix this stuff, try and fix something new outside of your comfort zone. Fix something that you haven't fixed before if the opportunity arises. Always learn. It's, you know, if it's not that, find a passion, man. Find something that you dig doing, and if you can get a job doing that, you'll never work a day in your life. This is strictly a hobby. This is fun. All for fun. And to show the trials and tribulations, the many errors. We didn't put our fan back in, so we have to pull this back out. If anybody noticed that and you didn't tell me in the chat, shame on you. Shame on you for not telling me. Why don't you watch where I'm going and watch what I'm doing? Warn me ahead of time. Alright, all that fight with that wire for no good reason. This thing. Yeah, that thing. Alright. Let's reconnect our fan, and then we'll continue on. Anyways, as I was saying, have a happy and safe 4th. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. It's one of those. If you fix this stuff, cool. If somebody else needs a hand with it and you do it, give them a hand. Get it fixed. Fix something new. Thank you for watching. Clicking that link ending up here. I appreciate you. See you next time.